Hello, good evening, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to the Overwatch Watchers Brawl. I'm still 3.007, and I'm joined tonight by Ares.
Hello, yes sir, I am Ares. Excited to be here.
We have a fantastic little game for y'all tonight. It's a loser's bracket match, which means this is sudden death. One of these teams we will say goodbye to tonight. It's Power Supply Unit and the Toronto Tidepods. And Power Supply Unit, by the way, coming at us from Penn State University, but let's hear a bit more about the Tidepods. We have a little bit of a pregame interview for you all today.
Hi, my name is Arizona.
Arizona,
I'm
pleasure to
yeah.
have you back. What is your role on the Tidepods?
I'm one of the managers for the Toronto Tidepods and also the team captain. So I do a lot of the like organizational stuff in terms of making sure people are there, and yeah.
Fantastic. How long have you been playing Overwatch, Arizona?
Ooh, well, I played before comp was a thing, so
Ooh,
since the beginning, yeah.
nice.
Waited for that day one release. Didn't have beta access though, unfortunately.
Ah. Now, was Overwatch one of your first esports kind of, MOBA shooter games, or did you pick up some of the other ones like CSGO earlier?
So I didn't play too much CS:GO, but like in terms of shooter games, but I did grow up playing shooter games. There was a game a really long time ago called Tremulous. It was like humans versus aliens, and
That
then like
sounds
natural selection too, stuff like that. But
damn.
I was pretty big in the League of Legends scene for a while,
Ah, okay.
and like all throughout high school and then some of college. But then mostly it's just Overwatch right now.
Very cool. So you're no stranger to competitive gaming. So
No.
coming in tonight, how you guys feeling? What's your mindset going into tonight?
Pretty good. We just have to stay focused. Last time, we had like a few communication issues against this team, that led to us losing a map, and then some of the maps were really close. So we're trying to like concentrate on our gameplay this week so that we have a decisive win.
Awesome stuff. Very much so looking forward to that. So one last question before we get this match rocking out. Arizona, what do you think is going to be the most important thing for your team tonight in this match?
Target focus and maintaining a positive attitude.
PMA, baby. I love it. All right.
Yep.
Good luck out there and have fun.
Thank you. Have a great casting.
Thank you. So that was Arizona, and we are going to be getting started very shortly on Hanamura, with the Tidepods going to be leading into defense and PSU, and it's going to be real hard for me not to say Penn State University the entire evening. Aries, what are we thinking tonight? How's this going to go down?
I don't know, considering it was a 3-1 victory for the Tidepods before when they faced each other in the upper bracket, I think it might go similar, but hopefully that PSU kind of learned from that mistake and is able to learn from it and hopefully have a closer match this time.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see if, what PSU is going to be bringing to the table. Clearly, the Tidepods are going to be coming in, hopefully, with a much more target-focused gameplay style than their previous match up, which saw a bit of a little sporadic stuff. But tonight on Hanamura, that is going to be pretty quintessential, depending on what defense they run.
Oh, I feel like it can be very important on that, because if you're able to get that your momentum going on that defensive side on Hanamura, can just keep going and keep going, but also on the offense, if you get one really good attack on that first point, it can steamroll heavily into that second one.
Oh yeah, you get mad snowball potential coming out of point A, and point B, even if it is a tough nut to crack, having that snowball is a really nice, how do you say, way to bust Hanamura wide open and get some of those high score maps like you see on Volskaya sometimes.
Oh yeah, it may come down to either a golf score or it can end up being an NBA score. It doesn't. It's one of those things where if your defense is really good on Hanamura and your attack just isn't there, it can be a really low-scoring game. It can be even a tie or a draw sometimes. But then it can also come up to that, like, I don't know, like 5-4 in the finals. Like, at that point, it just differs on the teams and how they play on defense and attack.
Yeah, it can be super crazy. And one thing that is important to note, ladies and gentlemen, as we go into this particular match, is Hanamura is going to be an all-heroes match. Every single hero is available for play. The bans won't start until after this particular victory, or loss, depending on your side. So stay tuned, but for now, that means it's going to be every possibility on Hanamura. We've seen some Symmetra Bastion, we've seen some Mei, so I personally am super excited to see what PSU are going to throw out and how the Tidepods are going to recover from their last defeat.
Oh yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see, and I wasn't able to look at how the game went, but I can feel that some heroes maybe played more than others than on this. Like, we may see a Mei come out to be able to see if they can get that Rhine or that main tank caught off guard in that first point on defense.
Oh yeah, Mei is when it's funny. Sometimes we actually see Mei getting called out explicitly on the hero bans. Some teams just do not want to have to deal with it. And in this new format for the Overwatch Watchers Brawl, it's the bans applying to both teams. So that means that team is actually comfortable enough on their Hanamura defense to say, you know what, we're so happy that we don't have to deal with it. We're okay not playing her either.
Yeah, and you also got to practice around that, meaning, hey, we're in a comp game. We're gonna have to stop ourselves from playing that Mei or that hero that we're really comfortable with because we know someone else is better than us on that hero and can really catch us off guard with it. So you just got to practice against it and not actually use it, which is very interesting sometimes.
Absolutely. And so here we have it. The defense for the Tidepods has come out. It's going to be a fairly standard 3-3, which, note, for this particular tournament, it's the comp rules, but the patch has still applied. That means Lucio's speed boost is not as effective as it has been in the past.
I mean, here we go. It looks like they're going to take this side path, his PC or PSU, sorry. And they're just going to go in with a little bit of a dive with that Winston, and Lucio's going to boost up. And they're just going to try to take this fight right inside.
Double shield composition coming out for PSU initially seems like a good idea, but they're able to burst
kills.
Down. Yeah.
For PSU going down. Vision and Maddie coming off strong so far, and strong defensive hold there from the Tidepods.
So the Argon going around in Hammond on the left side initially seems like a great idea to start boosting them around the point. Instead, what happened is it left the tanks without some much needed peel. Their shields went down way too quickly, and they're going to have to try again here.
Yeah. And notice how Toronto Tidepods are holding this back on top of the point instead of holding it upwards. Here we go. They're just going to go into the same place again. Coalescence is going to be popped, and so is Rally. And bunch of ults actually coming here. So much damage from the Tidepods being produced onto PSU, but nothing really coming from it. And kills. Whale gets really low, and there's a huge earth shatter. That's 5. It's not able to get anything from it though. Oh, and Kodama able to get a double with that primal. Able to get Brigitte and Reinhardt. And this defense is going down right now. Sound barrier. Vision, that's a huge kill. That's a support. It's another support going down. And IQ getting demeched. And all the kills coming in for PSU, and that's the first point, most likely.
That shatter coming out from UEO was enormous, catching practically every single member of PSU. Hammond coming in with massive slam, and he's going to almost have his mines ready for the next point. Speaking of that snowball potential, I think I'm seeing it from Power Supply Unit.
We're only 2 days out of spring, and I think we're about to see another snowball.
And
of course they live in Toronto. So here's a grab coming in, and their Tidepods are not looking good right now. Coalescence able to get 1, and so many ults. PSU hold. They're snowballing, but IQ able to get a double, and Whale's able to go on with that. Vision with another great shot, and wow, Vision has had some really good kills so far. It looks like they may switch off this Mei. I don't
think anyone would have been forgiven for saying that that was going to be PSU taking it, hook, line, sinker, done, GG, or rather, good round. But that Grav Diva combo from Whale and IQ, talk about big IQ plays, that gave them enough time to stabilize, and they even have the Transcendence to play with this next set of ults coming out from PSU.
Tidepods said, Einstein, who are you? We got better IQ than you. And then speaking of 300 IQ, there's a 3K Earth Shatter, but he's not able to capitalize on anything there. And so much damage coming in on Joshua. He's getting so low, but the healing's there. Argon able to get 1 with his ult. And he's able to get another one. That's a Lucio and a Reinhardt down, and a Diva demeched. This fight may be over, and it looks like it is.
Yeah, it's going to be stalls coming out for Tidepods. They're not going to be able to make a lot of a case for this point. Despite the barriers coming in, UEO has switched onto the Hammond. They're going to be doing their best, but the point presence for PSU is just way too strong.
And there's that snowball we were talking about earlier with Hanamura. Even with that Mei, kind of a late switch, I think I would have kind of liked to see that earlier on in the point on the first one.
Yeah, with as punchy of a composition they were running with that Hammond, that's the kind of situation, honestly, where a Mei super comes and, really can do the job. You get that wall going up on the choke point, Hammond comes diving in, possibly even the Reinhardt to double down. You can put out a lot of damage, and then Zarya has a great chance to build up some charge. It's just a great situation, but you have to be running it to take advantage of it.
See how they respond here. PSU is up 2-0, and see if Toronto has something in them.
All right, so here we go. Let's see what PSU's defense is looking like in... Yes. Come on, leave spawn, guys. Come on, just do it. Do that for yours. All right, so we're seeing the classic, or not what is rapidly becoming a staple composition on this map. A Mercy Hammond, and then no, they have Kodama on the Zenyatta. This is a little bit of a interesting composition. It's the one tank, one support that's so popular is on this map, but Kodama on the Zenyatta is very, very interesting.
Oh yeah. With 4 support, or with 4 DPS, sorry, you can get a good bit of damage, but it looks like they're running that two supports, so maybe not as much damage, but Kodama, see if he can get a good bit of damage off of that Zenyatta, as we know he can be. I don't think Battle Mercy is going to come into effect, though.
It's interesting, yeah, again, the patch having just taken place, the Discord Orb is a lot less effective for every other member on the team, and however, Zenyatta can do a lot more damage with his right click. So that being said, it's possible Kodama is going to be primarily playing his Zenyatta as a DPS.
Yeah, there's a good chance, and there's a good hack from Joshua. And they're going into that side corridor, and it's not looking pretty. So tons of damage, like we said, coming out from PSU. Argon's able to demech. Q. They're going to go up into this high ground, and see how this works out for them. Looking like they're just getting pushed around like a rag doll at this point.
Yeah, like, taking the high ground there is a good choice here, but the DPS just has their opportunity to build ult charge and rain down death and destruction on top of them. Tatsuya on the Pharah almost has their barrage ready to go.
IQ's already been taken down by Argon. Looks like Argon's just been targeting them so far. And just kills coming everywhere for PSU, and this is not the snowball you want from the Tidepods whatsoever.
Yep, Arizona goes for the reset, and IQ is going to have to just stick around and wait for everyone to come back. And it looks like they are going to be switching their comp up to combat this very punchy, damage-heavy composition from PSU. They're going to be bringing out Whale on the Widowmaker, and Maddie on the Genji with a very classic Stage 1 dive. Boy, does that make me happy.
Joshua in the background's able to spot Whale and get that info on that Widowmaker. Kodama nearly gets... He's lucky he didn't get taken out, but there he is. Shouldn't have peeked that. Tidepod's gonna go onto the point here. Valkyrie's gonna be popped, and that's that res taken out for this fight. Kodama.
Shot.
Oh my god, Whale. So many shots coming in right now. This is just a trade-off for trade-off, but it's looking like it's in the Tidepod's favor right now. It's a shootout.
Yeah, Argon's going to pick up the kill on Whale. That's not going to be enough, though. Tidepods are going to take this point, blow it wide open, start their particular push. But they've had so many switches now, there's no way for them to get that snowball potential. They're going to have to settle on a comp quick if they're going to have a shot at making point B faster than the PSU's attempt.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to attack this. Like you said, they've changed their composition up from what they originally wanted it to be. But it worked on that last fight.
Yeah.
They're going to take this high ground as PSU. And there's that Winston to combat Maddie. Which is a good idea. And Whale goes over onto that Doomfist, is able to quickly get a pick under that Ana. IQ gets demeched again. It's been demeched so many times. Trade-offs coming again. But it's not looking like trade-offs anymore. Dragon Blade's going to be popped by Maddie. And he's going to get slept right away.
Oof, committing the blade to this fight doesn't necessarily seem like your best option if they can pick up a tick, you know, hindsight 2020, but as it's looking right now, it looks like the Tidepods are just flinging ults into a lost fight.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see at all. Vision able to get Argon. Another sleep, and it's just not looking good.
So despite the Doomfist buffs that came out with regards to reducing his cooldowns, it looks like they're not able still to go toe-to-toe with a Brigitte, especially when they have some support. And I think that's exactly what Whale's thinking. Despite having ult, he is going to be switching off.
And sometimes it's a hard decision to be able to switch off of your ult, even when it's a point like this, if it's a very tight and both teams are on the point and you just pop your ult, boom. If some people are low, you can catch them and die. And they'll be down. And they're just taken out of the fight. But maybe it's a smart decision to switch off because of not being able to deal with that Brigitte. but see how it works out for him.
Yeah, this could be either the clutch decision that saves the game, or maybe building up to that Space Jam combo with Zarya could have been just what the doctor ordered.
Grab's gonna be coming out. Vision's able to get a quick pick and a nice headshot. Not much else coming out. Yu-Gi-Oh is getting taken very low, but the heals have been there this entire game, but it's not gonna help for much longer as Arizona and Madigan able to get that trade off there, but it isn't enough. But it looks like they think it is. Rally, Zen, and a Diva Bomb gonna come out. Bunch of ults from both teams. And there's a nano boosted, or not nano boosted, my bad, just there. Transcendence gonna be popped over here. And Diva Bomb's gonna be popped for PSU's. Joshua looking for something big, not able to get it though. IQ gets so low, Tatsui gets melted. So is Kodama right now. And so much action is happening right now, but PSU's able to get so many kills right now.
So whale switching onto the Zarya seems to have been exactly what they needed to do. Despite this grab coming out from Sujo, it's not going to result in any kills. Rally on the point as well. No ticks yet, but it's going to be a long stall for PSU to stop Tidepods from taking this.
The Tidepods are just rolling right now. They're not going to get it in the time as PSU, but I bet you they will get this point.
Yeah,
and it looks like it's happening right now.
Diva's gonna make it for one last stall, but again, yeah, this is pretty much just over and done with.
Oh yeah. Like they just said, it's wasting my time, but... Oh, well, it looks like we're going into an NBA type shootout.
I'm not necessarily surprised. Both of these teams are demonstrating pretty solid Overwatch play. However, PSU has a significant quantity of time left on the clock, and if they can grab a good solid hold on point A, this could be a very fast second half for them, so to speak.
Oh yeah. It's 422 for PSU to the 219 of the Toronto Tidepods. It's a pretty significant deficit, really, there, if you want to think about it. Because you got to grab 2 points in 2 minutes and 20 or 2 minutes and practically like 40 seconds at that point. And you're just trying to hurry and go, go, go. You don't have time to really switch your comp to something comfortable that you want. So you just have to, what you have, you got to go with it and roll with it. Unlike what they were able to do that last point, whenever they switched off to that Doomfist, when that Brigida kept countering them, it worked for them very well, but you can't really do that with the time that they have.
Yeah, and now with PSU going to be tossing out a Winston 3-3, this is going to be a different take that they have on their defense. So they'd have shaken things up. They know that the Tidepods were able to take it in about 2 minutes last time. So if this works out the way they want it to, we could be having that full hold, but with that Sonic era coming out, I have a feeling that Tidepods are going to know exactly how to deal with that now.
Oh, yeah. They're going to go the same way they went before. See if it works a little bit better this time. So they're getting up there a good bit, and they're just going to go push straight on to this point. For Texas able to get a very quick pick there. And 2 picks, and it looks like they may just have to reset really fast here. And yeah, they should just jump off the face of the earth and reset. 140 left, and do you think they have time to even snowball this slightly?
Yeah, it depends on how quickly Whale can generate some charge, and then they're going to have to stay alive long enough to build up that grab. Kodama, however, if we're looking at the tanks right now, Kodama and Joshua have been just doing fantastically with the damage output. Kodama's going to have Primal in this next fight, just based on the sheer cleave of that Tesla cannon. So it's going to be a difficult push for Tidepods unless Whale can get that charge, keep that charge, and then start doing some serious damage.
Oh, yeah. And also, if they're not able to solve this point, and that's oh my god, the kill's coming in so much favor at PSU.
Ooh, that's a nasty ult to toss out there when the team kill gong is reverberating. So Maddie's going to have a rally in Arizona with the barriers, and Yu-Gi-Oh also might have a fat shatter waiting for them in the wings. They do have the rally and a trance to fall back on, but the barriers, if that's going to be the ult that they needed at the end of this next fight, they're going to be regretting that one.
And Diva Bomb's going to be here, and this may be deadly since they're in that corridor, but looks like they're going to go straight out of it. They're going to go up that right-hand side. Rally's gonna be popped, and that bubble's also gonna be popped. Not really gonna be used for this fight. See, when Diva Bomb gets used here, though, that's gonna be very important, but it's not really gonna be that important if 2 kills are gonna be coming out that quickly. Another one. And another one bites the dust. As Vision goes down, and not much of a vision there on that fight.
So, 10 seconds left. Looks like it's going to be Yuio left to touch the point, and I have a feeling this one's going to end with a no contest overtime as we look into PSU's exciting... What? Who got on the point? Sneaky Diva!
Great job on that bubble, but it does get Joshua demeched right away. Maddie's able to get a kill there. Gonna be kind of important for that. A little bit of a confidence boost, I guess. But they may be able to get this point. Possibly. I don't think so.
Yuio being the last person on the point with the Discord on him is not looking good, and Diva's not going to be able to get back this time. Once again, Threep scuffs it up, and here we are, round 3 complete, and it's time for PSU to wrap this up.
Oh, yeah.
So the big shout here also is PSU does not have this in the bag. Toronto Tidepods does technically have a shot at holding this. They are just basically going to have to do exactly what PSU just did. Hold them to less than a third of a take, which is absolutely 100% achievable. It's just going to be a very, very long uphill battle.
Yeah, especially when you have to hold it for nearly over half the, or double the time that you just wasted, basically.
Yeah, rough situations all around. So let's see how Tidepods are going to be coming into this defense, knowing that they have a tie ahead of them, should they manage to pull it off. And it looks like it's going to be a Sombra. Ooh, if Maddie plays this Hog, this could be a very interesting composition.
With a 3-2-1 there for Toronto. Like you pointed out, Joshua and Kodama have played out of their minds so far. So much damage output for them, and Kodama just able to build up his ult so fast. Joshua over there just holding on to his ults very strategically to try to push them away from the point, the objective, or just trying to win a fight all out, and it's worked so far.
So it's that double shields 3-3 coming in with the Hammond also. Again, I'm just super curious how this one's going to go out for them.
Funtaxis able to get Yuyo very quickly there. PSU is looking like they may get this one right now. Tidepods got to stay on this, and they got to contest all the way. Arizona's going to go down there. And that's not looking good for them. And the Nittany Lions roar in the land of the dragon. Sorry, had to bring that up.
That's fair, that's fair.
Oh, God. I watch way too much wrestling.
So there it is, though. The PSU, the power supply unit, are going to take Hanamura quite handily. And despite a little bit of a shaky start, they proved quite dominant, especially in the second half when they come in with that Winston, which, again, didn't initially really work out super great for them, and then here they go. Taking Hanamura relatively quickly. 13-minute match. That's pretty good for a 2CP situation.
$11,600 trance healing for Vision. That is insane.
Yeah, that's just more than a little crazy.
Especially when you factor in that he's trying to play that as a DPS. And he's able to get that much just with his trance.
Well, hopefully all the Zenyatas out there don't get any funny ideas.
Oh yeah. I don't feel like going into comp with that.
DP Zenny. Alright, so here we go. Now we're going to be going into the second match, and now this is where it gets funky. So we are going to start off by calling out hero and map bans and selections. We're going to start out with a map ban, and PSU are going to immediately ban Route 66. Tidepods are going to then select Busan. So in PSU to save a hero, and Tidepods are then going to ban a hero, and that ban will affect both teams.
So it's not like if they ban, let's say for the extreme, if they ban Hanzo, the Tidepods do, then PSU can't use them, and that also means the Tidepods can't use them. It's not a one-way street here, it's a two-way. That's just how it works.
Yep. It used to be that we had the ban going into effect for only one of the teams. That has been revised, and I think it's a lot more interesting in this regard. So now, it looks like PSU are actually going to be saving Hammond. I assume that is what they mean by ball. You know, ball love, ball is life, etc. And the ban coming out from Tidepods is actually going to be on Mercy, which I think is going to be them trying to stymie that Mercy Hammond DPS composition that they were so fond of running on that Hanamura.
Yes, they loved running that, and it worked very effectively as that Winston was just able to stay alive for so long without getting punished. Kodama just had practically free reign. That's how he was able to get his ult so fast most of the time.
Yeah, super fun situation for that to be in. I definitely do not envy anyone having to go up against that composition. That being said, here we go on Busan now, as both teams get ready to go. Neither of them going to have access to a Mercy. So let's see what we start out on. Now, Mercy doesn't always get picked on every map, but since we come into City Center... Nope, it's going to be actually Shrine. JK.
Haha, liar. I'm kidding.
Oh no, I get it wrong. All the time.
What do you expect from 007?
Hey.
Oh my god, if you could put in music to this game, I'd love to put in the 007 music.
Ah, yeah, just especially for King's Row. Like, you gotta have it there, right?
Oh yeah. Like, when you're playing Genji or something, you're like sneaking in the background, it's like dun 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 dun. That would be awesome. Fun fact, I played that in band.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
Yeah, in front of 300 people, that was scary, but...
Hells yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so let's see. Neither team has access to a Mercy, and yet I think that's not going to be stopping PSU from running that particular damage-heavy composition.
Yeah, they loved running that damage heavy, and it was just getting so much damage out, and it put a lot of pressure on those supports to try to keep their tanks alive. Just so much, and Kodama and Joshua not playing tanks here. It's going to be interesting. Argon is going to be taking that Hammond.
Meanwhile, Tidepod's going to be sticking back to that Sombra, Rhine, Zarya composition, of course, with the Brigitte, Zenny, and Lucio. And let's see if they are able to keep that sustain going long enough.
Argon going to get taken down very, very quickly.
So point going to get opened here. Not a lot of competition coming out from PSU currently. The Tidepods seem to have chosen exactly the right composition to stay on and stay ready.
Joshua getting taken out very quickly. Tatsu and Joshua getting to work very quickly there, and this is the damage that we were talking about that they love to run.
Caster's Curse in action, ladies and gentlemen. Threepwood says that the Tidepods were doing a great job of sustaining on the point, and PSU comes in and wipes the floor with them.
Did I not say liar earlier? Anyways. Anyways, they're gonna get 18%, nearly 20% if you round up. And, like, I didn't know you guys couldn't do that. I don't know. But they're quickly gonna be able to get that percentage back. And let's go as many as on that Genji. So you can get a little bit of poke damage here. A little bit. Gonna pop that reflection back pretty fast. Kodama's halfway. But Argon's gonna get melted by Whale. This happens a good bit so far, though.
Yeah, Argon's had that happen to them every time they jump in there into that Sombra, which Whale doing a fantastic job on it. I think they're going to have to reevaluate that particular aspect of their strategy here if they want Argon to have a little more uptime.
Bob gonna get abused here. And Yuyo is able to get... And that's... Yuyo's actually gonna get traded very quickly there. Bob's able to get Maddie, and so many kills just coming out. Bob's gonna get another one, and Whale's able to get fantastic. That's not going to be very fun for him. Arizona also going to go quickly down, and looks like it's just going to be a reset for Toronto. If Sujo can hit a shot, there we go. Like they're going to get a double.
Interesting series of trades there. I'm very surprised that Toronto wasn't able to take that point, but I guess PSU's just, again, sheer damage output. If you keep any of those members alive long enough, each one of them is capable of handling a squishy well on their own.
Yeah, Bob was very effective there because Maddie uses very early, like before they even decided to push in, and he didn't have a reflect for Bob to get out of the way, and he peeked out and he just got destroyed. But
Yeah, it's a super rough situation for a Genji to be in, yeah.
oh yeah, it's literally the definition of the song, all by myself. But Sujo gonna get Yu-Yo and gonna get some very nice shots here by him. And he's actually basically soloing this right now. Maddie's able to get Joshua with it very quickly. That's going to be very good. But then that sound barrier is going to come out. And that Hammond, oh, it's going to get it one Dragon Blade. See how much this does. And it's going to be a wipe. Toronto finally able to capture this point back again. And Argon's going to finally go down.
Wow, Maddie going crazy on the Genji there, busting that wide open. I'd like to see that. It still wasn't as one-sided as of a fight as I think the Tidepods would have wanted, but it definitely shows that they're at least able to contest against this particular composition. Now, they're going to start building some percentage here, but there's a lot of tasty ults coming in for PSU, especially the dreaded Bob.
Yu-Yo's going to get some information that they're going to maybe be coming through the side here. There's some false information, though. And they're going to try to focus on Argon, which I don't think is really the smart idea, but they're able to get him very quickly there. Bob's going to be popped onto the point, and a great hack there. Wow, the nano boosted Winston that's not able to pop his primal because of his hack. And Sujo's going to get dived there, and Whale with a nice shot. Another nice shot. Tatsumo gets headshot to death. And Maddie's able to get that dash around. He turned Dasher there, and I don't think that Hammond was Santa. I don't think he was just dashing him around through the snow in the jolly good old ways, but, you know, gotta bring in winter references whenever we can.
Oh yeah, since we're about to say goodbye to the season, at least down here on the east coast of USA, but so Whale on the Widowmaker, again, I'm surprised they didn't bust that out earlier. This is a fantastic Widow map, and they have just been going insane with the head clicks here.
Oh yeah, very. I'm surprised that, you know, PSU hasn't decided to try to counter it, but here we go back into the action. Sujo cannot survive Yu-Yo again. That's the third time so far on this point. And Yu-Yo's going ham, and so is Tidepods, and they're able to bring it back and take point one.
I honestly can't believe that happened. It's almost like the PSU just gave up on contesting the point. Tidepods did such a fantastic job of keeping them out of there.
It looked so good for PSU early on, and it just fell apart. Like you said, that switch onto that Widow went very well, and Argon just kept getting melted down so quickly. I don't even know what. Like, I think he should have switched off that Hammond a lot sooner. Even though they saved him from getting banned, I just don't think it was working at that point because he just kept getting melted.
Yeah, Whale was doing too good of a job on the Sombra as it was, and even then when they switched off to the Widowmaker, and by then it was too late, the damage had been done. Honestly, all PSU needed was a single one team fight to take that map back and win it. They were at 99%, and the Tidepods just never let it happen, and here comes Whale again. Good gravy.
Oh my goodness, he can never just give them a break, and there's another one. Two supports down early on in this fight. And IQ's just gonna add on top of it. Whale's gonna get a third. And Vision says, why not?
PSU's gotta do something to contest Whale. It's just, he's too strong right now. And there it is, the switch onto the Winston. Someone's gonna get dived.
Oh yeah, he's having a whale of a game.
Hey.
Oh, I'm cringy. But here we go. Like a little bit of early dive here, and that Winston's getting very low. Kodama, he's able to get healed right back up to full health, and he's just gonna keep diving on in, and that's a great anti. Kodama and Fantastic's gonna go down, so does Tatsudi, and that's 4-5 coming out. Oh my god, the Tidepods are rolling. They are cleaning this close right now, which is PSU.
Yeah, Tidepods, they're showing their strength right now on this Busan map, and PSU's got to try something. They've got to try something different. They have to contest this Widowmaker.
They are showing that they are not Gain Pods, they are Tidepods. And here comes a Dragon Blade coming out. It's able to get one, see if we can get others, and it's able to get another one off that anti. There's so much damage, it's so crazy for the Tidepods. And Maddie, it's just been these single performances, these single player performances that have come out very well. It's multiple kill fights for each player, like Whale in that first fight, and then now it's Maddie in this fight. Who's it gonna be next? Arizona on that Ana? Like, it's crazy.
It is definitely insane. Again, the composition that PSU's running with here is not a bad composition. It theoretically is very strong, but Will must be addressed. The man is insane, and his sightlines are way too strong. I see the D.Va come out. I see the big grab. It's not going to get anything, though.
Thing is, Kodama is supposed to... just so many kills here. It's insane. And, oh, that's a Kobe on the Kodama. You hate to see it if you're him. And this looks like it's going to be the map right here for the Tidepods. Trant's just going to come in here, and he's sitting at the lunch table by himself, really. And IQ's just going to try to bully Kodama. And, yeah, that's the map. Tidepods just rolling in there after that first fight on that temple, and then it just kept going and going.
Yeah, there's not really a lot you can do from PSU's perspective, that is to say, if you're not going to deal with your biggest threat. I think so. Arizona had talked in the pregame interview about isolating your win condition, or rather, not isolating your win condition, but your target focus. And I'm sure the target focus was there, but there's also something to be said for isolating the win condition, and eliminating Whale had to be a factor in that attack for them. And there it is, Tidepods, proven that, they can make it happen. So Tidepods gonna be the ones who are gonna take it on. So good work to them. Arizona had it right. Target focus is easy when you can click ahead in one shot, eh?
Yeah, it's just, the shots Whale was able to hit was insane. That's like stuff you hit when you're in like training, like the training room. It's insane what you're able to hit when you're not really getting contested that much. Even when he was getting contested, he was hitting great shots. And it's like Kodama was trying to get Maddie, and then there's also Whale. Who are you going to pick to counter because on each side of the map? Because Maddie's diving, and then Whale is just over there just shooting you in the head every shot, it seemed like. And on the top, like, who are you going to go after at that point? You just needed some counters for them, and it just didn't really work out.
Yep, when you have a Widowmaker that's donating that kind of sightline control and zoning control, and also, bring in the head clicks, you have to, I don't know how many times I can say this, maybe when maybe when it happens, I'll quit, but you have to address it, and if you don't address it, then you're going to lose the map 2-0, and so here we're now going into 3, so we are going to remind everyone that you cannot play the same map type back to back. So, Tidepods are going to be banning Horizon Lunar Colony. PSU are now going to have to select a map that doesn't include Route 66, any King of the Hill map, or the other maps that have already been played.
So, you gotta think, wait a second, is it 2-0 right now for the Tidepods, or?
It's 1-1.
1-1, thank you. I thought I remembered saying Nittany Lions. Thank you. But if you're watching this as another team, and let's say the Tidepods move on in this tournament, you gotta be watching this saying, we might end up having to ban the Widowmaker, because if you're not able to stop Whale, he's just going to pop off on you, like we saw on that last map.
Absolutely, and with PSU selecting Hollywood, if I were the Tidepods and I'm thinking, all right, we need a hero to save, maybe you save Widowmaker. I don't usually say something like that. It's usually safer to save Lucio or the Reinhardt or Zarya. In this instance, I think it's been Whale that's been the enabler, and yep, there it is, save Widow. So PSU knows exactly what's coming for him.
Oh yeah. Can we just address the fact that one of them is named Arizona, and yet they're the Toronto Tidepods?
It's fun to like things without having to actually, like them. I would never say that I like Arizona, but, Arizona is, maybe it's just a neat place. Hey, maybe they're from there. I don't know.
Yeah. But when you're named Arizona and you're on a team that's based in Toronto,
it's all the North American server. We're all one big continent here with bad latency.
and always getting dominated by the Koreans. But it's all fun.
So the Tidepods have elected to start on defense in addition to their Widowmaker save. So I think we're going to be seeing a Widowmaker come out on defense. Call me crazy, I know. But as a reminder, everyone, just in case you've been watching and seeing someone that you've been really enjoying, don't forget to scroll down below that stream and check out the Twitch Picks poll for MVP. Click your fave and let your voice be heard.
Yeah, and I remember you saying before this that you were the one that would forget, and I actually thought it was cool, but I forgot this time.
That's why there's two of us. That's it. That's the reason.
Oh my god. Wow, we actually found it out. The mystery has been solved. Scooby Gang went out again.
And we didn't even have to rip anyone's face off. So, that being said, let's go back to the face clicking and see what's going to be coming out. Now, as a reminder, Tidepods, they're electing to start on the defense. They're going to be sticking on the blue. And the glorious power supply unit, God, I want to call them Penn State University so badly, is going to be on the red, on the right, in the red, and they're going to be starting out, and let's see what they're going to be coming out with. Do we think maybe we're going to see a little bit of that Widow duel action now that Sombra's also been banned for both sides?
Yeah, like you said, you want to call them Penn State. I've already mentioned the Nittany Lions. It's so hard. I'm sorry. The power supply unit, like, it just... I get what they were trying, what they did. Like, PSU, power... it's hard. It's hard not to call them that. But we will try our best. Because we're the best around. I'm gonna shut you down. Alright.
And so here we go. The defense for the Tidepods comes out pretty much exactly the way you would expect. We have the Winston Diva, we have the Pharah Widow, and we have the Mercy Ana. A classic little defense here that you would not be out of place on stage 1 of Overwatch League, and it is still very powerful today.
Yeah. And let's see how Whale does here. They was the save here, and they're gonna go in that back line. And there's just a headshot just right away. And, yep, Matt is able to get that one in. Here we go. Here comes the attack. This is where it's going to get fun. Trace coming in with a nice shot there from Whale. And another one.
That was a blind shot. They were able to shoot it through the Diva. They heard the Winston.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
That's another one. Oh my god. Just for reference, he hit 5 of the players that died there and did over half their health, basically. He nailed that Moira straight off the rip. He nailed that Reinhardt. He flicked to the Zarya. It was... And Funtastic had no chance. And Argon just got destroyed off the rip. But
a bit of a miscommunication, possibly, as they split up a bit there.
Maddie's able to get Tatsuya very quickly into this fight and see how that factors into this. Because they're just stuck in that corridor. Argon's just getting shot here constantly by Whale.
It looks like he was going for a pile drive up onto the top there. Excellent use of the particular skills and kit of Hammond, but unless it unseats Whale, it's not going to make much of a difference.
Yeah, you need to get him. You need to make Whale uncomfortable. You really do. Vision's able to get Argon though very quickly, and Maddie's able to get one. He's gonna be able to get Tatsuya. He's not been that effective so far in this match, and that zombie is gonna come out for PSU. And Whale's finally gonna get this, and he somehow survives.
Yeah, he gets forced down by the Lucio, but Sucho's gonna go down way too quickly in that fight.
And PSU's finally able to get an attack going here. Here's that Diva Bomb. Able to get nothing from it. Coalescence able to get Maddie. That's going to be a very crucial kill right now. And Whale's going to switch off to that Doom Fist. I don't think they're going to give up on this point, but it's going to be very hard for them to keep going on this. Whale's able to get one, though. And he's going to go down from it. And it looks like... I don't think I'd try to contest this point at all, but they might end up doing it.
Yeah, at this point it's just a little bit of that feed action as they are going to be sent back to spawn. UEO, IQ, Maddie, Whale, and Arizona are going to be recovering now as Argon starts that little bit advanced scouting.
But, you know, good job there. Fantastic, finally able to get Whale down. and it worked. They were able to win the fight, honestly, because they were able to make Whale uncomfortable, because he had to focus on surviving instead of attacking, and that's really what did it, in my opinion, on that fight. But Suju is able to get Whale very quickly, speak of the devil, and, you know, here we go. And he is a devil for PSU, though. That Hammond ult's looking like it's not able to get anything. Maddie does have that barrage, and see how it's used here, and Valkyrie's also up. Ult economy looking very good for Toronto Tidepods. He's able to get one, he's able to get knocked out of the air by Fantastic, who was actually aiming at that particular time. But Whale's able to go switch back over to that. Widowmaker is able to get Fantastic very quickly out of it, and kills galore coming out, and also a resurrection. Oh, and that's a wasted Earth Shatter. What are you thinking at that point?
Yeah, you definitely don't want to throw that out. Hopefully Joshua was going to be switching, but yeah, there it is. Okay, phew. He does get onto the Diva, rather. And so that is going to be, again, PSU trying to match the Tidepods tit for tat, DPS for DPS. Sujo, having been on this Ashe now for quite some time, very close to a Bob, and it's a very deadly ultimate for this open Hollywood streets phase.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, they've just been, like, the past two maps, or this map and last map, they were having to just go to what the Tidepods were playing and try to accompany it. Sujo is able to get a pick very quickly onto Maddie, and there's that sound barrier, see if it does much. Bob's able to come out, and you able to get one, and Whale with another fantastic shot into Fantastic himself, and he's gonna get another one. Yu-Yo gets res, and that's gonna be huge here. And it's gonna be another fight win for the Toronto Tidepods.
Yeah, a lot of ults got thrown into that fight. Argon's still going to have that minefield ready to go. Yu-Gi-Oh! And IQ, though, they're also pretty close to their own tanky ults. And with a minute 21 left, Tidepods are doing a pretty solid job of maintaining the street's defense.
Oh, yes, very much. And Maddie actually hits and kills Fantastic with his sonic arrow. But, yeah.
And now a Hanzo on Maddie coming out as well. The double snipers. So beautiful.
It's like satisfying, you know, like the video of the soap getting cut. It's like seeing that, but when they actually play well. If you're in a bronze game and you see this, you're like, oh god. But we're not in a bronze game, are we?
Oh, and there it is. Whale's gonna get a little bit of that sights. And that, finally, Tatsuya dropping onto a Widowmaker to contest this. Wow.
What am I? Tatsuya able to get Whale. That's gonna be a huge kill, and there's that dragon, not able to get much at all. Tatsuya gonna go down though to Maddie. Maddie's able to get another one, he's able to get Sujo. And Yu-Yo is gonna dive in onto Argon, it's gonna work. Maddie's able to go down though to Kodama. It's really been the Wisdons that have been dictating this fight.
Yep, fantastic show. Now Tatsuya coming back again onto the Widowmaker. Gonna try and make sure that Whale doesn't have the dominance that they need, or rather that they have, but Joshua's also gonna be doing some diving as well.
Great anti there from Vision to kill Fantastic off, but the kill is just coming in for Tidepods. At one point, it looked like PSU had the Whale. Oh my god!
I think at this point we're almost asking what shots can't Whale hit, but what can't they? Again, taking Tatsuya out for the Widow duel, and there it is. Round one is done. This is as far as PSU goes, but is this a set game for Tidepods and Negatory? They are going to have to, you know, match them tit for tat, meter for meter. And we saw Whale's Widowmaker on defense, and let's see how this can go on offense, knowing that PSU is going to have a comp to match.
Yeah, and you can't really just hold the high ground. He may go that Doomfist that he's actually pretty good on, actually. They've seen he's good on Widowmaker and that Doomfist, which is pretty, you know, spread apart from each other on skill levels. But that Doomfist is very good on this map because you got that car and you got those walls, and if you're able to punch someone into them, it's practically an instant kill if it's a squishy and a lot of damage onto those tanks.
So here we go. Let's see what compositions are gonna come out, at least on defense from PSU. And at first blush, oh, I like it already. The Diva Orisa combination, having been seen on Hanamura before, is really nice. You have Orisa setting up with your anchor point, Diva being the one that can contest the point, and Tatsuya on the Bastion is just able to rain down death from above. The only thing missing from this composition that I would have liked to see would be a Symmetra to boost that Bastion all over the place with that handy little teleporter.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. So if you think you got the Bastion down, you think you got like 10 seconds. Nope, you got 2. And then, he's back in the fight.
Alright, so here we go. If this can be believed to be the composition coming out from Tidepods, looks like they're going to be dropping Whale onto a Hanzo for that Sonic Arrow. See if they can get a little advanced knowledge. Not going to grab anything, and instead it's going to be a 3-3 from them. I am genuinely a little surprised. Let's see what Tatsuya does with this one on that Bastion.
Tidepods just going to go into that side corridor. So they're going to dive in, or not really dive in so far. They're going to go behind. This is a pretty smart move if you think about it. They're forcing PSU off, and they're going to be able to get on this point. And now, they're playing ring around the rosy now.
So they rotate onto the high ground to try and take advantage, force that Bastion off, and there it is. They do manage to get the nap. Kodama's there with the Orisa, though, so this is going to be an interesting play for Tidepods now.
So much damage coming in from the Tidepods, and it's finally going to catch up to Fantastic and Tatsuyo and Sucho. That's a triple. It's a quad. It's a triple for Yuyo. It's a quad for Yuyo. Actually, Maddie's able to jump in with that, and so is Vision and Whale. Wow, Yuyo finally stepping up with those limbs.
Yes, that was very quick attack on Hanamura there. So there you have it. Tidepods begin their Streets phase with 5 minutes and 15. PSU is going to have their work cut out for them.
Yu able to get another one there. Very good from him so far in this last minute. If he can keep it rolling, and the rally's going to come out. And they're just pushing PSU back right now. IQ's able to get Kodama. That's a huge kill. That's that Rhine down. And that's 2 tanks down. All they got is that Zarya left, and they're targeting it hard as Whale. And Whale's able to get him down.
This would be what we refer to as the full court press. The Tidepods doing such a fantastic job of stuffing PSU back into their spawn, not even giving them a chance to contest. They're really only going to have one solid fight at this, and that depends on if the Grav can stop them from even getting there.
Look at this, but that Grav's gonna come out. Or not that Grav, I'm sorry. That's Sound Barrier, but it's not gonna get Kodama as he gets antied as it comes out. It's gonna go down from him. Maddie and IQ's able to get 2 there, and Arizona's gonna go down on the trade. Vision's quickly able to trade out on Argon. He's gone down a lot so far in this series, and Maddie's able to get 2 there. Or not 2, but Will's able to get 1, and Yu-Yo is able to get a double. He's coming up again in another fight, and that's gonna be this map. Toronto with their second.
So there it is, Toronto Tidepods demonstrating an intense dominance on Hollywood. Play of the game might be going to Yuio here, but I'm going to be going at least my MVP for this match, definitely going to be Whale, locking up that defense. And even PSU were able to even contest him for a little bit. It seemed like they had unlocked the secret with Lucio being able to jump onto them. I think that was fantastic. But it just wasn't enough, and Whale was ultimately allowed to run unchecked.
He was running rampant in that. It was like a shooting gallery for him at that point. I mean, there was that one time Fantastic was able to get him down off that high ground, but it just wasn't enough at all for them. That one time was not enough, especially when he switched that Doomfist. Even did a little bit, and then he switched back over to that Widowmaker, forced that switch to combat that Doomfist since they were doing so well, and then they didn't notice he was just off to the Widowmaker, which they probably should have, and they just dominated them again.
Yeah, too good from Tidepods. So they're going to be starting off with the ban. So for the record, we've already had Horizon Lunar Colony be banned. That does completely eliminate the 2 CP maps from this particular series. Lijiang Tower is still technically available, but Dorado has also banned. That also eliminates the entirety of the escort pool. They cannot play Eichenwald currently, which means the only map left for them to play is Lijiang Tower.
This is going to be interesting.
So yes, it is confirmed. Dorado is banned. Looks like the Tidepods themselves are not a big fan of the escort style map. So PSU, they're technically able to pick, actually, since Hollywood was just played, they may not pick Eichenwald. They are going to grab Lijiang Tower, and that is going to be a very spicy setup here coming in.
What do you think that PSU should do to stop Whale, Maddie, and this DPS and just this damage coming out?
Pick any map other than Lijiang Tower. So they went with Lijiang over Ilios. Ilios having the one map that really favors a Widowmaker, but otherwise you can definitely get away with composition that kind of dominates that long-range play on Well and Lighthouse. Meanwhile, in Lijiang Tower, you have two maps that are very good, and Tidepods recognize it. Arizona immediately going to be saving Widowmaker. So the die is cast, though. The map is chosen, and PSU, their hero ban is going to have to be really on point, and I hope they have a strategy in mind. This possibly could be one of their favorite maps. I don't know, but they are going to have to contend with a Widowmaker on at least 2 of these Lijiang Tower rounds.
Yeah. And the thing is, even with Ilios, the way that would be so bad for Whale, especially on Well, and it would be so bad for him because he's not that mobile. He's a more of stay in one place and shoot. He's not a very mobile Widow that'll jump up and hit crazy shots. He hits crazy shots, but they're from the ground or from the high up. They aren't from different levels switching on and off within like 5 seconds. He doesn't use his grapple that much unless he needs to very heavily. Like you saw on that first point, he wasn't switching off to different places. He just kept on that little elevator, and off he switched one time.
Yeah, he had to rotate around a bit when he got threatened by the Hammond and the Winston who would come up to play. But the ban from PSU is actually going to come in on D.Va, which means they don't get to play D.Va either, which is a huge way of contesting a Widowmaker. So again, they've got to have something in mind. It's going to be a D.Va-less comp, that's for sure. Maybe now with D.Va banned and Widow saved, possibly they're going to be going back to a much more punchier composition like they were running earlier on the first map of the match, Hanamura.
Possibly. And if you're looking at it, why would you ban a dive hero that very much counters that Widow? Granted, you haven't had much success diving the Widow this game. You really could have practiced that. If you're diving that Widow, especially, I believe that Whale put his Widow out the first time these teams met in the upper bracket. But you really need to be able to stop him at this point. You need that dive, and you need it to work as soon as possible, especially when you're coming into this last map, possibly this tournament for you. You need to bust out everything you have.
Yeah, I think the best guess that we have going here is that there's going to be something big coming out from PSU, or rather, there has to be. This is literally match point for the Tidepods, and based on the composition that Tidepods are throwing up right now, I'm not even going to comment on it. Meanwhile, it does look like PSU are settling in with what they're going to be going with. I see a very standard 3-3, except instead of D.Va, we have the Hammond, which they had actually saved in their first hero save after the win on Hanamura, so I guess I'm not terribly surprised. This is a particularly good map for those boops.
Yeah, but I'm also kind of surprised because Argon's been taken down very, very quickly. He hasn't really, done that much. He's been very quiet, being just damaged so heavily, and especially when he goes into those backlines. He's not able to get that much exposure onto them.
Yep, and so here they go.
Yeah, damage actually coming out very much for the power supply units. A very nice fire strike there. Maddie's able to get the trade though onto Tatsui. Yeah, and Whale's gonna get another shot. What do you expect at this point? And just Arizona gonna res up IQ. The damage actually coming in very well for Tidepods. What do you expect so far from this game? Kodama, that's a huge kill for Maddie. And Vision is gonna get vicious, and he's able to get a double, and Maddie's also able to get a double, and Tetsuo trying to get this going. Whale gets a kill, or gets killed, shall I say. But it's just not enough. Really, the Tidepods are just so dominant with those DPS, and like you said before on map 1, their tank DPS is insane as well.
Yeah, so Yuio is going to be building up to that shatter very quickly. Both Zarias, however, look like they're having a difficult time getting charge and maintaining it, as their graviton potential is very low. Meanwhile, a bit of the back cap going on for the PSU, and the shatter is going to come out from Yuio. It's not really going to grab anyone, but the barrage is going to be following up very quickly on top of it.
Maddie's able to get a double! That basically guarantees this fight's over.
Yeah,
Hammond not able to get anything. Yuio's able to get that Hammond. I mean, this has just been a total disaster for PSU. You pick Li Jiang, you ban that diva. What else? Like, you basically shot yourself in the foot right now, it's looking like, unless they pull a miracle out of the hat.
Yeah, Argon switching over to the McCree might be what the doctor ordered. We'll see how well it gets countered. Whale has actually switched off now onto the Sombra, though.
Here comes a sound barrier, and Argon's able to get one, so is Kodama, and that's finally some kills for PSU. Finally able to, probably, most likely, definitely take this point, but finally able to get something to be able to build on at this point. They're able to get this point. They're 64% for the Tidepods.
There it is. So now Tidepods have a chance to do a little of the retake action, but Whale coming out with an EMP and Maddie with that barrage ready to go. That's a combo that is going to be very deadly, but Argon is taking the correct position rather to not get caught out by that.
A 3K EMP. Argon Joshua able to get 2 there. And they're in this quarter, and that's not good for the Tidepods right now. Oh my goodness, this is looking to shape up like a really good Li Jiang tower right now. I said they may have shot themselves in the foot, but maybe they didn't shoot themselves in the chest.
So Whale actually jumping back onto the Widowmaker, so the Sombra not really working out for them the way they wanted it to. Maddie still holding onto that barrage.
Yu-Yo just fireballs. Fantastic there. Maddie's able to get Argon. And that's an earth shot onto Joshua, and he's just gonna get pinned. Whale with another nice shot. Yu-Yo is able to get taken down, but it looks like it's gonna be a little bit too late. Yu-Yo is gonna get resonant, really. Okay, I agree with that, I guess. But Yu-Yo's able to get Kodama on the second try.
So spooky situation for the Tidepods. They are definitely in one fight territory, or rather, PSU only needs one solid fight to take the point back and win this particular round. And with a Shatter online, a Grav ready to go, and Argon's Deadeye, which we have yet to see, you know, we're not sure how it's going to be handled. Maybe it's going to be a zoning Deadeye, maybe it'll be a slick reload, or maybe it'll be a 6K, who knows.
Kainu's going to be popped. Not able to get anything. Maddie's able to get Argon, though. Great timing on that one.
Yeah, it looks like someone brought
Shadow's
a Deadeye
able to
to a
get
barrage
Yu-Yo,
fight.
and he's gonna go down. That's you able to get Maddie. That's gonna be a huge. And both Crabs gonna come out. Whale's able to get Fantastic, but that's not gonna be enough whatsoever. Arizona's gonna get Maddie up, and I don't really think that's a great idea. As you said, that one fight territory, and there's that one fight.
So there it is. Tidepods are going to have to get back in time. This is going to be very difficult for them to do too. They're spending a little too much time switching heroes. It's going to be up to Vision to get back on the point. He does, so they're alive for now.
And there's a chance here. This is the last fight at this point. 2 kills. Tatsuyo is able to get a double. There's the rally and the sound barrier to maybe save it for PSU. Kills coming all in favor. That's a 4K for Tatsuyo in this fight. And that's going to be this point.
Yeah, there it is. As a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to vote on that MVP poll, but maybe save your vote to the end because it looks like PSU have a little bit more to say in this series. Tidepods, honestly, a much more even control point. Much more even than the Busan matchup we saw earlier.
Yeah, a lot more. The Caster's Curse kind of went again with that. Maybe they shot themselves in the foot. I don't know. They maybe got a little bit more fight left in them. You gotta think it's an uphill battle for them right now. They gotta win this map, and then it goes to a map 5, and let's see what happens there. The last time these two teams met, it was a 3-1 for the Tidepods in the upper bracket. But this is the lower bracket. Loser goes home, or rather to dinner. But, you know.
And yeah, so interesting point. Yeah, Lijiang Tower, this is the next Widowmaker map that was supposed to come in. And again,
Whale gets one. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, you're good. So here we go, they're going back in. So again, this is the Widowmaker map that they were, you know, potentially going to be looking out for, but they already took the win on the first one. So if they can hold out again, even if PSU loses this round, they're in for a good, solid control center.
Yeah, they're able to get 2 there, 3. Nah, maybe the fight. Whale's able to get Tetsuyo. What's new? And he's gonna get traded out again. Whale creates so much havoc and it's even when he doesn't really have any sidelines, he'll create it for himself and he'll be able to get it, and it's just crazy.
Alright, so IQ switch onto the Tracer proves to be exactly what they needed to do, as the Pulse Bomb gets two. Very rare ult to get any traction out of these days with that most recent nerf. And now, however, Tidepod's going to be taking that point quite adeptly, and with the ults to back it up.
And it looks like IQ's just gonna back away from... I guess they're a Tracer, they can go for a little bit. I would back away at this point, though. All those barriers. Not to get that much ult eco from it, and they're just gonna keep poking in here. Great headshot there. Yuyo is able to get two with that swinger around the Rosie, pocket full of Posey. And Maddie's able to get one as well, and Yuyo got a third. That Primal's gonna be popped. I don't know what much use it's gonna be now, but it looks like it's just gonna be used to back away. I think that was just possibly a misclick, but never know.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to be sticking into the fight. So now PSU not looking quite so dominant, and they're looking a little behind on the ult race, though Joshua is about to have his Shatter online ready to go. But yeah, again, this DPS composition from Tidepods, now rather from the Tidepod side, doing a great job.
Oh yeah. And Whale just looking for a good bit of poke damage here, not able to get it. They're not really giving him any sight lines to use. Yeah, well, IQ getting very low there, gonna have to recall. Maddie's able to get one, he's able to get fantastic, and a lot of damage coming out for him, but not able to capitalize much really on it. That Soundbear is gonna pop from Vision. And Hammer's gonna pop his ult. Sujo's gonna go down to Maddie, and nothing go for him in this back line. And PSU needs to win this fight. Earthshatter gonna be popped, not able to get anything, and it's just like it's gonna be a reset, but it's gonna be a little bit too late of a reset coming in by far, and that's gonna be the second point going to the Tidepods.
So there it is. Tidepods do pick up the second point. Again, the Widowmaker and Maddie on the Pharah doing a great job. This, however, is going to be the make or break situation. Maddie could still definitely play Pharah on this control center. With the PSU composition being what it is, though, and maybe they're going to bust out the Mei here, very popular. Control Center could very easily fall into the hands of PSU, keeping them alive in this tournament long enough to make it to that tiebreaker situation. And Tidepods are actually going to have to start sweating, but they themselves actually going to be busting out the Mei. Yeah. Both teams, we're looking at almost mirror comp. Arizona still favoring the Ana with Argon dropping in on the Zenny.
And well, here's the Mei on Whale. Haven't seen that so far from him. Actually, Mei on both teams. Kodama. Kodama's been very versatile so far this series.
I am enjoying the flexibility.
Yeah, it's like watching a gymnast at this point. Arizona! What an anti! Getting 2, 3, 4 from it, basically.
So it's interesting to see the Mei get caught out by an enemy Mei's wall. Normally Mei's not the one leading that particular charge. I think Kodama may have been a little excited to wall off that choke there. Instead, they themselves received the wall. Tidepod's going to take this point, and they're going to start setting up on this hideous choke point.
Yeah. And with this Mei, it's going to be very fun for PSU to try to retake this. Earthshatter is in use, and it's able to get two, is able to get fantastic in Sujo, but nothing really else is coming from it. Vision, Maddie, nobody got their respective kills, and Yuyu is able to get able to get Joshua Watt. Really said his full name.
So there you have it. The Ana, without a diva to counter them in any way, shape, or form, means that when Arizona decides you're going to be anti-nated, you're going to be anti-nated. And if your shield ain't up or your bubble's not ready, that's a lot of damage you ain't healing.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's going to be fun for PSU to try to get back into this. The power supply units need to gather some powder right now. Power. And ults galore right now. Oh, and that's going to be a wasted shatter for Yu-Yo, and that's going to be a blizzard going to be coming out. And Fantastic and Joshua going to be able to get some kills there, and Suja is able to get one as well. He's able to chime into the party. Vision is able to get one on that boop there on the Tatsuyo. That'll be getting really much else from it. Looks like it's going to be finally some power usage from PSU. And then there's just Vision.
So at this point, stalling for the Tidepods is a fantastic option. They're at 74%. Remember, you can't grab that King of the Hill, so there you go. They're going to build up as much as they can, as long as they can, knowing that if they can take it into that one-fight territory, they're going to be sitting pretty for that next fight.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy how Vision was able to survive that long, and they're most likely not going to be able to... They are going to take this into the 90s.
Normally, you would say that a trickle, that a stagger is not a good situation. In King of the Hill, however, it's a very good thing. And look at that, Yu-Gi-Oh's actually almost already at their next shatter. Ditto for Arizona and a Nano.
Whale's already at his Blizzard. Like you said, Nano and that Earth Shatter close to popping up. That sound barrier was very weird, because typically you don't want to use a sound barrier in that scenario, but... And... Wow, Yu-Yo! He gets 2 from 1 Fire Strike, and Maddie's gonna add on 2, and that may just be this point.
Yeah, Maddie uses Rally almost as a speed boost to go right to the dead center of Control Center, so there is going to be some contest left for PSU, but it's going to be very tricky.
And there's it gonna be, that's this series, 3-1 Tidepods. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Well, there you go. That's going to be the May that does the job. Kodama going to be grab and play the game here. Definitely good play coming out from both sides. Tidepods, though, so the turn here on this Night Market map was super intriguing. They had a fantastic shot here. They were finally able to deal with Whale in a constructive manner, and then on the Garden, it just fell apart. Fantastic job, fighting for the point, taking it to the map where theoretically the Widowmaker wasn't going to be a problem, but... Instead, it turns out that a Whale is still a problem, even if they're just playing a May.
Yeah, Whale is just, for me, if I were to vote, I would vote Whale for my MVP.
Speaking of which, make sure your voice is heard. Let us know who you think is most deserving of the MVP. Maybe it's that sick, fat nade, anti-nade, or, boosty nade that we missed, but make sure that you are keeping track of all the good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Looks like we may get a post-interview here. Hello?
Hello?
Welcome, Maddie, to the post-game interview. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
So, all right, how you feeling right now?
Well, as you guys saw, we had some struggles on the first map, which I believe was... I don't actually remember. What map was it?
Hanamura.
Hanamura, yeah. I just knew we lost. Their quad tank comp was really wacky, something you don't normally see, and it kind of caught us off guard. Even though we played this team before, we did not remember how strong it was against us the last time we played them, so it was really nice to be able to bounce back and get the next 3 wins.
Hey, good stuff. So, coming out of this one... So you got to flex onto a lot of different crazy stuff here, getting away from the 3-3. Do you have a preference? What do you usually like to play?
Well, I think that we were trying to force goats because we weren't ready for kind of the new hero changes and stuff like that, and like the new meta obviously hasn't really been sorted out yet fully, so no one's really sure what to run at the moment. So we were trying to do this goats thing, and it wasn't working everywhere, which I believe is a good sign for people that are tired of watching 3-3, but or we're just bad. It's one of the two, but either way, it was really nice being able to flex onto some of the heroes that we don't normally get to play. I know I had a lot of fun on Pharah, especially. It was really cool to take to the skies once again, but yeah, I have to give them a lot of credit too, because they didn't play much goats, and when they did, it was really solid, but it was really their quad tank and their quad DPS comps that they would try and pull out of nowhere that would catch us off guard. And yeah, they're a really good team.
And you guys did a bunch of that as well. So, we're talking about the meta and how the big patch just hit, and, Baptiste is not playable yet according to comp rules, and it probably won't hit until stage 2. So, how do you feel the meta is going to shape up? Are we looking towards a more DPS-centric composition?
I'm going to be real with you here. I have no idea, but if I had to guess, it would probably be more of like this quad DPS stuff we've been seeing, especially recently, to try and counter goats. All the cross angles with Hanzo, Widow, Ashe, stuff like that. And maybe even throw some bunker in there as well. Baptiste, I know, enables like a lot of really tight characters, which to me sounds like Bastion and Orisa. So if you can really throw that in there, you'll be doing pretty good.
I do not disagree at all in the slightest. So I know you're probably looking forward to getting to your next game in the tournament, but do you have anything to say for anyone who might be looking at coming into the next Overwatch Watchers Brawl tournament?
Yeah, it's never underestimate your opponents. I know that this was a team that we had already beaten actually before any of us took a loss, but we ended up meeting them in the losers bracket after taking a loss to Aptix Esports. And yeah, I mean, they came to play today and they came to play last time too. They were a really good team, and I have to give them a lot of credit for keeping up with us.
So yeah, guys, you heard it. So if you want to come into the tournament, there's a lot of rock solid teams. Maddie, thanks for joining us today. Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun.
Alrighty, take care. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Maddie from the Toronto Tidepods taking the win in the losers bracket over Power Supply Unit, who we will be saying goodbye to tonight after some very excellent Overwatch. We're going to sign off here for now. Don't forget to join us back at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm 3.007. Grab me on Twitch or Twitter at 3.007.
By the way, before we forget, Whale is your guys' voted MVP for this series. Very congratulations to him. It was very, very well put from him. His teammates, a very good synergy it looked like from them. But I am Aries, the play-by-play caster for today. And yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Aries_Thompson. But yeah, other than that, I'm signing off. Adios.
Thanks for joining us, and have a good night.